Hey there, I'm Caitlin, and I'm here to make some soap with you guys today. With the 4th of July coming up, I figured it would be a perfect occasion to make some fun, colorful, patriotic bars to give as gifts. The cold process method allowed me to make really pretty design incorporating red, white, blue, and gold. If this is your first time making cold process soap, it's a good idea to get some simpler recipes under your belt before jumping into this project. I'll be working with a lot of different colors and techniques, and it helps if you have some practice with this method beforehand. Before I start any cold process recipe, I like to prep my colorants. Naturally, this soap is going to have a red, white, and blue color scheme to match the 4th of July. I'm going to add in a couple teaspoons of each of my mica powders into a pouring pitcher and disperse them in sweet almond oil. Doing so will help the powders blend more evenly into the soap without leaving little spots or flecks. I'll be using titanium dioxide to get the soap nice and white. I like to use a mini frother to break up any clumps in the titanium dioxide. And now you're ready to move on to the recipe. I'm using a relatively simple recipe with plenty of palm, coconut, olive oil. I've also incorporated some cocoa butter to firm up the bars a bit, as well as avocado oil because it gives the leather a great feel on the skin. I want to do a hanger swirl with this soap, and I think that this recipe is pretty workable for that. I'll be using the heat transfer method to melt my solid ingredients with the lye water, but you should remember to melt and stir your palm oil beforehand. This will help to make sure the fatty acids within are evenly distributed, making a nicer bar. With all of my oils and butters in a bowl, I'm preparing my lye water. I'm suiting up for safety with gloves, long sleeves, goggles, and a mask. These are not optional when it comes to cold process soap making. I like to work with a pretty standard lye to water ratio of 1:2. Carefully pour the lye into the water and not the other way around because you don't want it to splash. If you pour the water into the lye, you could get a volcano and seriously hurt yourself. Stir the lye into the water gently until it becomes a little bit more clear and you don't see any more lye pellets. I'm going to let the solution heat up a bit so it can effectively melt our solid ingredients. Now I'm going to pour this into my mixture, and I'm going to use the spatula to pour the solution onto to prevent any splashing and start stirring. It can take a bit to melt down the solids, especially the cocoa butter, but I still feel like using this method is a lot faster and easier than melting down all of the oils separately. Soaping at an overall cooler temperature also helps me work in fragrance and swirl designs. Now that everything is melted, I can grab my immersion blender and bring the soap to trace. I really want a light trace for this recipe since it'll be doing a lot of mixing to incorporate the colors, and titanium dioxide is known to speed trace. Make sure to tap the immersion blender on the bottom of the pot a couple times to get out the air bubbles. Give the blender a couple of pulses followed by a stir or two to make sure everything is getting emulsified. Light trace can be tricky to spot if you don't know what to look for. Take it slow when blending and swirl some drops from the immersion blender over the surface of the soap batter every now and then. When you see faint lines left by the drops, it's ready. I've got a light trace going on, so I'm going to add my fragrance and my titanium dioxide. There are a lot of different scents that would be perfect for 4th of July themed soap, but I wanted one with no vanillin content to prevent the soap from discoloring over time. I think champagne pomegranate is going to be perfect for it. It doesn't cause any acceleration or ricing, and it smells great. Wonderfully sweet and celebratory. Separate the soap into other pouring pitchers, making sure to leave plenty of white soap. Mix the red and blue micas and it's time to pour. I want to start with blue, so pour in enough to fill about 1/3 of the loaf mold. Make sure to leave a little bit of each color in the pots after pouring. I'm going to give the mold a couple of taps to get rid of any air bubbles. Now we're going to add some sparkles. Make sure you don't add so much mica powder that the layers won't adhere to each other. I'm going to follow up with the white layer, and I'm going to try to prevent it from breaking through the bottom blue layer, but no worries if it does. Then we're gonna sprinkle some more mica powder, and then we're gonna finish it off with the red. Before we pour the last bit of soap, grab a hanger swirl tool and bring it to the bottom far side of your mold. Working the tool towards you, swirl the soap up and down all the way to the other end of the mold. Now we're going to pour the last bits of soap along the top. Now using a chopstick or stirring rod, we're gonna make swirls in the colors. Make sure not to poke too deep, less than 1/4 of an inch is perfectly fine. Now our soap is done. To help minimize soda ash, we're gonna give the soap a spritz with some isopropyl alcohol. I like to insulate my soap to help them through gel fades, which will make the color pop. Real quick guys, before we show you the bars, I just wanted to take a moment to make sure you're subscribed to our channel. It means the world to us and it keeps you up to date on our how-tos, company events, and helpful business tips. Ring that bell icon and you'll never miss an update from us. Now let's cut those bars. All right, it's been a couple days and I'm ready to reveal my festive bars. To give me a nice, even, clean cut, I'm going to be using my awesome multi-bar cutter from Nurture Soap. Are you guys ready for the final result? Let me just grab a bar from the middle here and, oh, it's so cute. And the champagne pomegranate fragrance really stuck out too. It's really strong and sweet. I made sure to make these sometime before the holidays so they have plenty of time to cure for about 3 weeks before they're used. This will ensure that they're nice and firm with a great lather. These bars make a great little gift to hand out at 4th of July parties and craft fairs during the summertime. My favorite part about the layering and hanger swirl technique is that you can get all kinds of different looks with just a change of color and fragrance. Each bar cost me about $1 to make, including all of the oil, lye, colorants, and fragrance. I'd sell them for about $2 to $3 wholesale and retail about $6 to $7. Let me know what you guys think about my bars in the comment section. Making soap is such a fun project, so I'd love to see you all again in my next recipe. If you haven't already, subscribe and ring the bell to become a member of our notification squad so you never miss an update from AFI. We're so grateful for all of the support that you've shown us. I'm Caitlin, and I'll see you the next time. Bye!